Hi, welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Jill Duffy here with Max Eddy today. The top story in tech news is from Apple, and that's that Yosemite is out. Yosemite is, of course, the latest version that's coming soon of OS X.
It's very exciting, and this is actually the second public beta that Apple has ever done. The first one was in 2000, so all of you out there right now, you can go to apple.com, you can click through some screens, and you'll be able to sign up. If you are in the first 1 million people, you'll receive an email with a redemption code that you can use at the Apple App Store. Then you can download the new version of OS X.
So not everything is going to be available to try right now. There's some limitations in it. A lot of the integrations between the Mac and the iPhone, for example, are not going to be active quite yet. I think you'll be needing to run iOS 8 on your mobile devices for that. But everything else you can kind of tinker around with. Developers, of course, have had access to Yosemite for a couple of weeks now, but everybody else, well, a limited number of people anyway, can get it starting today. Do we know when it's going to be available to everyone?
Not yet. I mean, you're just going to have to wait for that email to come from Apple. The big question for me is why they're doing this now for the first time in 14 years, why they've decided to do a public beta, especially when the key features, those interactions between iOS 8 and the operating system, just aren't available. Here in the labs, we think that Tim Cook probably has a lot to do with it. He's been a little bit more open, pushing Apple to be more reassuring to its investors. But also, Windows has done, I think, 3 betas for the last 3 updates. So they might be feeling a little bit of pressure from them.
Yeah. In other Apple news, the iWatch patent, as we're calling it, it's actually called iTime, has been released. It was actually filed in July of 2011. So this is something Apple's been working on for a while, and as we suspect, it is a wearable device that looks very much like a wearable smartwatch. And we're kind of getting some insights, but Max, you've kind of noted that a patent doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It really means nothing. It means nothing at all. Apple has patented all sorts of crazy stuff, and having written about them in the past, I actually kind of wonder if they do this to intentionally throw off the press, throw off their competition. I feel like I see this stuff all the time, but there are some interesting ideas in this patent. The iTime device is just one piece of a whole modular slew of devices. You'll have a wristband that has sensors in the wristband and seems to function kind of on its own, and then you might be able to pop in different components into that, sort of like you would with the iPod Nano. Some of those components might even have different capabilities, like Project Ara, where you'll have like a haptic feedback module or a GPS module or whatever. To me, this suggests that it's going to be tying very closely with iOS, where you'll be augmenting the device in your pocket, things that your phone doesn't already do or does it slightly differently.
Yeah, and the patent is very specific to say that it will be able to interact with another mobile device, so presumably iOS devices, and then it will have some gesture-based control so that if you're moving your arm horizontally or vertically, it can be able to trigger some actions.
But don't get too excited because it could all be fake.
Yeah. Actually, you know, I think that kind of, though, touches on the Yosemite thing about releasing some things early, maybe spreading out the announcements that they have throughout the year a little bit more, because Apple used to be on a very clear release cycle, and now we're seeing them want to be in the press a little bit more throughout the year. In other news, there's some more movement on haptic devices and gesture controls. There are 2 researchers from Japan who are going to be debuting a really interesting technology at SIGGRAPH next month. SIGGRAPH is, of course, a big graphics arts conference that happens every year, but it does way more than just graphic arts. It does a whole bunch of computer science stuff that's really cool. So these 2 researchers have been working on devices that give you haptic feedback that's push and pull. The idea being they can lead you in a navigational way, the same way that we look at our little phones and we squint at them for the GPS.
I've got a compass right here, so this compass, if this was that device, it would like pull.
So imagine, that it's guiding you through motion.
Like vibrations that would feel like it's pushing and pulling you around? Oh, interesting.
Exactly.
This would be really great for when you get out of a subway or you get somewhere where you're sort of discombobulated, don't quite know where you're going. You need a little bit of a tug to get you in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think the future of wearables and sort of technology integrated more into our lives in general is really about getting away from the screen. So if we can make these devices, the piece that they're going to be showing at SIGGRAPH is about the size of a wine cork, they said, but it could very easily work with any phone that has a vibration in it. I think that this is really important for the future of wearable technology.
Think about accessibility too. If looking at a screen isn't something you can do, this would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to our reader question. Max, you got a question from Prince Ganymede from Twitter, who wanted to know, how do I forward spam text messages on my iPhone to report them?
So this was related to a story about iMessage spam, and even if you are on an Apple device, you will get spam, and iMessage spam is particularly annoying because it's not really regulated by anyone except Apple, but you can read about that on Security Watch and why that's a problem. If you do receive a spam message on your iPhone, what you need to do is open the thread that it's in, and then tap and hold on the individual bubble, the actual message itself. A menu will appear above it, and there will be a More option. Tap the More option, and then an arrow will appear in the bottom right corner. Tap the arrow, and then it will open in a new iMessage thread. You're going to enter 7726. That's a short code address that will forward your spam message to Cloudmark. Cloudmark is a company that is our spam gurus. They've been taking care of spam for years and years and years, and they're really dedicated to mobile spam. When you forward this message to them, they're able to share that information with the actual wireless carriers and can block messages very, very quickly. And you should do it quickly. They get a lot of data from this stuff, so they're able to track spam campaigns and move quickly. So I hope that answers your question, and if you have any more questions about spam or wearables or whatever, be sure to reach out to us in the YouTube comments. Actually, no, don't leave any comments on YouTube. Send us some tweets or something. That'll be better.
Yeah, I'm Jill E. Duffy on Twitter.
I'm W. Max Eddy on Twitter.
Great. Let's take a look at one cool thing. Today's one cool thing is something I had the pleasure of testing not too long ago, and that Max is wearing now. This is called the UVA+B SunFriend. I'm just going to call it SunFriend.
SunFriend.
It is a device that you wear. It sells for $49, and it's designed to give you a sense of how much safe sun exposure you can get. So anytime we talk about sun exposure, what people are usually assuming it means is you should cover up, you should have sunscreen on all the time. This device is actually telling you that there's a small amount of time during the day that everybody should get direct sunlight in order to produce vitamin D. Now, not everybody needs to worry about that. I mean, it's kind of different for different people. If you are one of these people that needs to stay out of the sun, be very careful. But what this device does is it's looking at the UVA, UVB rays that are coming down. You set it to a sensitivity level that describes your skin type. So I'm, for example, very, very fair. I don't tan easily. I'm probably like a 2 or a 3 on a scale of 1 to 11. And then, based on this little sensor, it's called a gallium nitride photodiode sensor. This is stuff that NASA uses, by the way.
Oh.
So that sensor in the middle detects how much UVA and UVB rays are coming through and tells you by flashing around the circle when you've had enough exposure. Pretty cool device, kind of limited in what it does. Not everybody would probably want this. Comes in a couple of colors.
But if you need it, this is a great thing. If tracking UV information is something that you need, this is great. How much does it cost?
It's really about vitamin D. It sells for $49.95.
That's pretty reasonable for like a medical device.
Yeah, you can buy it in a number of places. I believe it's selling on Amazon, a couple of different colors. Very beachy design, waterproof, the whole 9.
I like that it goes to 11. I won't lie. I like that.
Yeah, 1 to 11 instead of 1 to 10. Wonderful. That's it for our show for today. We'll see you next time.
So long.